Welcome, Durham College students. Today we're going to go through the process on how to develop a site from start to finish. Now it's going to relate to a lot of what you've done in XHTML course with me, but we're going to define a little more and get detailed in the actual steps needed or taken through the project. So, first thing you're going to need is a good night's rest, of course. How can you possibly think if you haven't had a good night's rest? Obviously. So let's see here. I think we got a good angle. Good thing you don't see my face. You're going to see my hand. So the first thing you're going to need is a pen. Excellent. You're going to need a fork. And you're going to need some paper. Okay. And it's helpful if you have a banana and maybe an apple nearby, and a bowl, and possibly a knife. Okay? So these elements will allow us to develop our websites. I'll show you how they work. Typically when you begin website development, you'll have an initial meeting with a client, or you'll be given the project specs from either your employer, project manager, or in this case, if it's a project for school, you'll be given the outline and what you need to do for the project. So for your final project, in this case, you've already been given the examples or the specifications on what you need. But let's say we're not in school and we're doing a project outside of school, and the first thing we do is we meet with our employer or our client. So the first thing we do is what's called a needs analysis. Okay. So let me zoom in here. Alright, look at that. Needs analysis. Excellent. So once you have a needs analysis, and that's basically asking questions, what the site's about, what colors do you like, etc. There's a 2-page format which I like to bring to meetings. And in this case, you already have your needs analysis. The second thing you do is planning. Okay. The planning stage is composed of getting information, more research about the project, competitors, etc. Stage 3, recommendations, or recommendation. In this stage, you'll build a sitemap, you'll build wireframes, and we'll get into what that is. You'll basically outline how many pages your site's going to be, what those pages are, what content's going to go on those pages, etc. The fourth section can be design or production. Okay, and that's when the initial web design will begin, and you'll start to design your pages and either Flash elements, etc. Fifth stage, implementation. Just make sure I spelled that right. I think that's correct. Looks good. This stage will allow you to take your designs and start to build them in XHTML pages. Okay. Now, in implementation, another thing that also happens is any final Flash animation and whatnot, including Google Analytics, Google Sitemaps, which we covered off last class, and that's pretty much it, launching the site. Now there's a sixth and optional phase to the project, and that's administration. Administration would be a portion of the site that would allow the user or the client or whoever to update their site. So they would have a secure username and password, they would go into a section of the site and they would log in, and they would be able to manage the content on their website, so they'd be able to update it, at will. Okay, so those are the basic steps in planning a website. Obviously, they're very broad. We're going to get into a bit of detail with them. I'm going to skip needs analysis. I mentioned things like you can ask questions about what they need, what their competition is, things like what their domain is, what they want to get out of this, their target audience, questions like that. Now, if you want more detail on that, I can certainly help you out. We're going to get right into the third phase, which is recommendation. We'll skip planning. Planning is just getting research and planning out what you're going to provide the client, and also it's the stage where you give them a quote or a price, right, and outline the specifications of the job. But we're going to get right into recommendation here. So this part of the phase, it's important to take your knife and your bowl, okay, and the apple. And what you want to start doing is cutting the apple into pieces. Now, doing this allows you to take a break from work. It also gives you the opportunity to provide nutrition to your brain, to your body, and all that good stuff. Sometimes I'll have a bag of chips, probably not the best idea. You can crack open the banana. And there you go. You got a fruit salad. Okay, and the last component, obviously, is taking the fork, putting it into one of the fruits, and then enjoying it, So, as you work, it's important to nourish yourself, because you could be sitting down for hours on end on the computer working, and you may not even realize that hours have gone by, and you probably missed a meal or whatnot, and your brain needs fuel, your body needs fuel, and fuel is provided by nutrients and minerals, which we get from food. So it's important to take in that good stuff. And also every hour, 45 minutes or so, get up, do a stretch, because you'll also notice a lot of the time in front of a computer is sitting down. And if you're going to meetings, you're traveling in your car, you're sitting down. You go to the meeting, you sit down. And you go back home or your office, you sit down and you work on the computer. So, important to take a break and get some nutrition. Now, hopefully you guys got that all, because, it's very important. It's a bowl of fruit, right? And you can mix it up. You can live on the edge here. You can put a kiwi in there. You want a mango? Go get a mango, Hook it up. And then once in a while, I like to have a bag of Doritos with, I think sweet chili heat is a good flavor.